what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the Atlantic Kid channel. Today, as you guys can see by the title of the video and the thumbnail, yes sir, it's time for my 2021 Atlanta Braves team projections and predictions. So hey, without further ado, let's jump into it. So hey, it's almost springtime. We're into March. Spring training has gotten underway, and that means one thing. Braves baseball is on the way here in A-Town, and there's two clarifications I want to get out before I get into my projections. One, my dog is out here munching on his dinner, so if you guys hear a lot of noise, that's that. And two, you guys are going to see a lot of my projections are MLB yearly awards, aka Cy Young, MVP, whatever it may be. I put those just as Braves. So you're going to think that I'm being biased and all of them are Braves. It's just my Braves prediction. So I want to get that out of the way and let's get into it. So with projection number one, I have the Atlanta Braves finishing with a record of 94-68. That's my projection. I hope they do better. Of course, you know, it'd be awesome to see them go 162-0. That's not going to happen. But as a non-biased projection, that's what I predict. So with my Cy Young pick, I'm going to have to go with the lefty Max Fried. A lot of people think he's going to have a downfall season compared to what he did in 2020 and think he's going to revert back. I don't think that's the case. Along with, you know, we don't know when Mike Soroka is going to be back and how well he'll be, nor do we know if Charlie Morton will be able to do what Cole Hamels did last year, and that's play for us consistently. Ian Anderson's only going into his second season as a MLB player, and I don't know if we'll be at Max Fried's level, and then you don't know who the fifth starter is going to be. Either it's Drew Smiley or Kyle Wright, or even if they do a six-man rotation. So as of now, March 5th, 2021, the day I'm recording this, I'm going to have to say the Cy Young of the Braves rotation will be Max Fried. Now for the MVP player of the team, I think this is a pretty obvious choice. It's either going to be Ronald Acuna Jr. or Freddie Freeman. I don't think there's much argument to that there. Let's move on. Okay, and here's a good one. For comeback player of the year, I have the Braves reliever and lefty Will Smith. 2018 All-Star, was really good with the Giants in 2019 as well. Had a COVID year last year, you know, was a weird role for him. Instead of him being in the setup at the closer, he was usually a 5th, 6th inning guy for Atlanta. He says he wants to get back to what he did back in his days out in the Bay. And hopefully he'll be a nice addition, you know, for him coming back to that strength, because it looks like the Braves don't know if they're going to sign Shane Green back or not. More on that later. But yeah, I believe the comeback player will be Will Smith, and hopefully he's dominant this year. And now for the breakout player. I think we know there's going to be a couple rookies that join the team. There's more prospects that join the big league team every year. But there's one man I think I have in mind. Wilson Contreras was the guy that was runner-up to this, and I believe he'll be the platoon with Travis Arnaud, but obviously it's got to be Christian Pache. The glove out there. He's got Ender and Ciarte mentoring him over all these years throughout him in the system. And he's got good pop in the bag. He had a killer home run in the NLCS, and he just got robbed of a home run the other day in spring training. So I think the future couldn't be brighter for the Atlanta outfield. We got Ozuna locked up, Drew Waters is still in the system, Acuna's locked up, and now Christian Pache. Now for the best acquisition, whether it's trade or free agency this offseason, I'm going to have to go with Charlie Morton. Yes, I know technically Marcell Ozuna was a re-signee, but he was still on the team last year, so I'm gonna put him out of this list and say Charlie Morton. Reason being, Brian McCann was the one that lured him into signing back with the Braves. He's with us early in his career and has been dominant the last couple of years, especially in the playoffs. And one of the Braves needed the most the last couple of years, playoff experience, and more specifically, playoff pitching. Charlie Morton will give you that. He's a veteran. He's going to be the nice veteran of the rotation. He's going to give the young guys the stuff they need to be able to continue to grow throughout the season. When you have three young guys, a.k.a. Soroka, Fried, and Anderson, and even Kyle Wright can be joined in that bunch, Charlie Morton is going to be a guy you need in that rotation to keep everybody moving along and to have a lot of that mentoring going on in the clubhouse. So earlier I said my record projection for them will be 94-68. Well, I think that's going to be good enough for first place. That's going to be my projection for how well they do this year. The Mets are going to be on our coattail all year. And are they going to be annoying, and are they going to be tough to face? Yes. I believe we see them 3 series in September, and those series are going to be the most crucial of them all. Because I do believe the Braves are better than the Mets on paper, slightly. It just depends on how we play them in the standings and how we play them head-to-head. But I do think the Braves will get it done. It's not going to be as easy as it has been the last couple of years, but the Braves will finish first in the NL East and have a 4-peat. Now, we're a pretty stacked team, and this year is no exception to that. I believe this team has the possibility to have 4+ All-Stars this year. Yes, you heard me right. 4 and above in the amount of All-Stars we get selected to the National League team. I mean, you think about it. Ozzy Albies is coming back. He was an All-Star in 2018. Acuna and Freddie are always going to be there. Ozuna had a hell of a year last year. This team's, I mean, you got the bullpen's got a couple guys that are caliber All-Star players if they have the ERA down. The rotation's got a lot of young studs that are looking very good for the future. I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm that the Braves could have 4 and above in the All-Star game, so that's that. Now, the player I think will most likely be traded or move on from, I have 2 choices here. One, I don't really know if he'll be in the major leagues quite as much, more that there's depth at that position, and that's Alex Jackson. Catcher, I mean, he doesn't have the stuff that Shea Langeliers, William Contreras, and Travis Darno have, so I don't know what we'll do with him, but I believe he's going to be a choice to get traded. And I also believe Enter Ciarte is most likely going to be moved. We're paying him $8 million to be a guy off the bench, specifically for his glove. And his glove wasn't as great last year as it has been in the prior years. And of course, you know, Pache is going to be roaming that position too, and he's mostly a defensive first guy, so we'll have to see what the Braves do there. But I think those are my choices. Enter Ciarte and Alex Jackson will be the guys that most likely get moved on for him. And of course, I hope it's Luke Jackson too. And now for number 10 of my projections and predictions before I get into a roster breakdown. Will the Chop return? I hope so. Will I do it regardless? Yes. Now I'm going to give you guys a 26-man roster breakdown, you know, including a couple players that will see time here and there throughout the season, you know, via injuries or struggling players or whatever it may be, and a couple acquisitions that I think we should make. So starting off with the rotation. If you guys saw my prior video, I mentioned that 6-man rotations might be the meta for the MLB this year. A lot more depth is going to be needed. It's still a COVID season. Players are going to be sick. They're playing more than 60 games. So I think 6-man rotations could be a thing we see on the regular. And who do I think would be in that 6-man rotation for Atlanta? Well, I think we got the couple obvious choices. Soroka when healthy, Fried, Morton, Anderson. But now it comes down to who's the last two guys. And I believe if we do have a 6-man rotation, Smiley and Kyle Wright will slide into the roles, and we'll have a nice little rotation going on there. Now for the bullpen, I think it's pretty solid. I mean, whether we bring back Shane Green or not, I think we're a good team. And if we bring back Shane Green, we'll put us up over the top. But here's what I think it'll be if we have Shane Green or not. We'll have 4 lefties and 4 righties if we don't have Shane Green. I believe the lefties will be Sean Newcomb, Tyler Matzik, AJ Minter, and Will Smith. The 3 of the 4, lights out. 2019, when Newcomb was put into the pen, very solid. But when he's a starter, just doesn't cut it. I get he wants to be a starter, but you're not doing the numbers you need to do there, man. You got to go into the pen if he wants to stay with Atlanta. And for the righties, I think you'd have to put Bryce Wilson in the long relief role. I mean, hey, Kyle Wright or Drew Smiley might even be in here too if they don't run a 6-man rotation. So there's your long relief. And for the righties, you got a couple others, Jacob Webb, Chris Martin, just to name a few. And hopefully Shane Green will be added back. And I don't know if we'll have a good enough pen as we did last year, but ultimately I think the starting rotation will be better to the point where we don't need to use it as much, if that makes sense. Anyway, let me move on to the lineup. So here's what I think the Braves should do with a lineup almost every day, and this is not including the pitcher. I think that they should put Ronald Acuna Jr. leading off, of course, playing right field, Ozzie playing second behind him, Freddie, Ozuna, Travis, Dansby Swanson, Austin Riley, and Christian Pache at the 8 spot. The reason I don't have Freddie Freeman in the 2-hole like he batted a lot last year, I personally like Dansby Swanson and Ozzie Albies in the 2-hole. I think that they're good contact hitters. They have pop when you need them to. They get on base quite often. They can walk, and I believe they're good setup guys. You know, if you get Acuna and or Albies on base, then you got Freeman, Ozuna, and Travis, both killers out there with the power. Dansby Swanson, great fielder. His bat keeps coming along year by year. Austin Riley, he's got a big year to prove, but he looked solid last year. And then Christian Pache, who we talked about earlier. I think that's a great lineup. Now for the bench. So as of now, I've named 21 of the 26 roster spots. Again, you can switch out Sean Newcomb or Shane Green, whatever it may be. But we got 5 roster spots left, and I believe that's going to go to the bench. I believe we'll have 2 infielders, 2 outfielders, and a catcher. And I believe the catcher will be William Contreras. When the contract ends with Travis Darnell next year, we'll have Shea come up and play the platoon role. And then in the outfield spots, you got the lefty power bat of Jake Lamb and Enter Ciarte's defense. So pretty good out there. And then for the infielders, you got Jason Kipnis. We just signed him, former Indian and Cub. I think he'll be good off the bench, a good veteran. And then the guy that's got a put up or shut up year, and that's the switch hitter, great glove, can play anywhere in the field, Johan Camargo. Pretty solid bench. You got your backup catcher, you got your switch hitter, you got your defensive boys, you got your lefty, and you got your power bat. And, you know, a veteran in the bunch. I believe this bench could be one of the best in baseball again. And now finally, I'm going to end it off with a couple of names you guys might know that are in AAA or in the Brave system that I think will most likely see time this year in the majors. Not all of them, but I'm going to name a couple of guys that I do think will probably make some time in the major leagues. Now those guys are Huster Ynoa, Luke Jackson, Alex Jackson, Tucker Davidson, Philip Pfeiffer, Drew Waters, Pablo Sandoval, Travis Demerit, Adeiny Echeverria, and Kyle Muller. So out of that, that's 5 different pitchers and 5 different position players the Braves can flex their depth with wherever they need to throughout the length of the season. So there you guys have it. That's my 2021 Braves predictions. I hope that, it's World Series or bust for us this year. I know the Dodgers got even better and they beat us in the playoffs last year, but I still believe in this team. This is the top 3-4 team in baseball in my eyes. And if you guys made it to this point in the video, make sure you guys like, comment, and sub down below to the Atlantica channel. We're on the road to 1.5K, so it'd make my day if you guys dropped a sub down below. I like interacting with you guys in the comments, so make sure you guys, if you guys have any disagreements with me or anything you guys think I should change, you guys let me know in the comments below. So without further ado, go Braves, for the A, chop on. This is hopefully our year. So peace out, go A-Town, Blake out.